Virginia Tech.
And now, live from Los Angeles, your host, Jim Rome.
Welcome back. My guest today is in his 4th season as Virginia Tech basketball coach. He was the 2005 ACC Coach of the Year, and after thrashing rival Virginia this weekend, his Hokies are on track for another NCAA bid. Seth Greenberg joins me. Seth, great to have you on the show. How are you?
Great to be with you, Jim. Doing great.
Good.
A lot better than last week.
Yeah, right? What's been the difference?
I'll tell you, we had a week off. We played 5 games in 13 days. We were exhausted. We played a very good BC team and an NC State team that, played at a very high level for that week, for sure. I mean, beating us and then obviously beating North Carolina. But I think a couple days off, refocusing, getting back to doing what we do well, and that's if we can guard people, we have a chance to win games. And we did a nice job against a very, very good Virginia team.
Well, it's really nothing to sweat, Seth. I mean, you got Carolina coming up. I know you'll sneak up on them. And the good thing about Roy Williams is he's not into revenge games at all, so he should be fine.
No, in fact, last year I think Virginia won against Carolina. They went to Carolina and they lost by 47. In fact, we're trying to get the game canceled. We haven't had that done yet, so I guess we're on our way to Chapel Hill, and we'll play the Tar Heels. Terrific basketball team. I mean, when you watch North Carolina play, you see everything good about college basketball. They're unselfish. They defend. They compete at a very, very high level. They're extremely well coached and a great atmosphere. This will be our first time to Chapel Hill after 3 years in the ACC. In fact, I thought the fine print when we were invited to the ACC was that Chapel Hill only came to Blacksburg, and we never had to come, but obviously that was erased in the last year.
Yeah, you probably should read that contract a little more carefully, Seth. It's just like they're going to cancel the game because of inclement weather. In fact, what about that, Seth? When you signed up to go to work there, you signed up to be in the Big East, not the ACC. When you first found out that that's the way that was going to go, what was your reaction?
I was elated because the ACC fits our geographic footprint. We're smack dab in the middle of the ACC, and the Big East is a great league with great venues, great coaches, and great tradition. But Virginia Tech for basketball in this region of the country, it's not a league, it's a culture. And we were on the outside looking in, which made it very difficult to recruit. So now we're part of that culture. The environment around here has changed. The atmosphere has changed. We went from averaging 5,000 people to selling out each and every night. It's kind of rejuvenated and created unbelievable ownership from our student body, our alumni, and our community.
Seth, talk about recruiting and talk about going into living rooms and competing for the sort of players that might go to Duke or Carolina, or maybe you just not even try.
We don't mess with those guys, and we can't get those guys at this stage. We try to find the hardest playing, toughest guys that want to make a difference, that want to create their own path. Duke, Carolina, UCLA, Kansas, those people, all right, they don't recruit, they select. We've still got to recruit. We've got to evaluate. We've got to figure out who can play for us, who will fit at this university, and who wants to make a difference.
They don't recruit, they select. I like it. Hey, go back to earlier this year. You beat Duke at Duke, and then you beat top-ranked Carolina. Seth, you've been in the game your whole life. You've been in a long, long time. Have you ever personally had a week quite like that one?
That was a pretty good week, Jim, I have to admit. In fact, coming home after the Carolina game, my wife, Karen, she says, you guys just beat North Carolina. I said, hey, honey, this was a pretty good week.
That's a really good week. In fact, take me back. Seth, it's amazing because I can remember you and I were in the Big West together. I was at UC Santa Barbara. You were at Long Beach State. And I'll never forget you taking your guys in and beating Kansas in their gym when they were top-ranked. How did that compare, for instance, to either the win at Duke or Carolina this week?
Well, the interesting thing about the Kansas, when the game before that, we were at VCU and we got drilled by about 34. We flew right to Lawrence, prepared in one day, and won a great basketball game in a great environment. This game might be a little bit bigger because it was a league game and it meant something more. I think this basketball team needed another marquee win to validate the Duke victory, and obviously to play at such a high level against such a talented team, obviously is something that we can put our arms around and say, all right, this is our potential. And especially when you're trying to build a program, you need marquee wins. You need something that people say, wow, they're getting it done. It gets recruits excited. It gets the community excited. All right, it validates a little bit of our vision.
Hey, Seth, talk about a couple of Player of the Year candidates. Durant or Oden? Different guys, different players. If you had to choose one, who would you take?
Well, look at numbers alone. I mean, Durant's numbers are sick. I mean, the guy can score the basketball. He rebounds the basketball. He actually makes plays for other people. And, he's a mixture between Kevin Garnett and George Gervin. And maybe a lot of people don't remember George Gervin, but he can get a shot anywhere, anytime, from any place on the floor. And when he shoots it, you expect it's going to go in. Where Odin, obviously, he changes the game defensively. He rebounds the basketball, but you've got to get him the basketball. So Odin probably a little bit better complementing group around him. I think Durant is a guy that absolutely, without a doubt, by himself can win a basketball game.
Talk about your peers. Seth, if you had to vote today, who's your coach of the year?
I'll tell you what, I think there are a lot of different guys that kind of have a chance. I think Jamie Dixon right now, the way his basketball team is playing, it could be right at the top of the list. But you got to look at Billy Donovan because they were at the top right at the start of the season. Everyone's trying to take shots at them. They go on the road at Kentucky. They go on the road at Georgia, and they play at a very high level. You know, they had some injuries early in the season. They rebound the ball. They're much improved defensively. But most importantly, I love their chemistry.
What do you think about the job Billy Gillespie's done at A&M the last couple of years?
Billy's been magnificent. He'd probably be 1A. They defend as well as any team in the country. They've got a toughness about them. They execute, and that point guard, AC Law, is magnificent. So, you know, what he's done in terms of, in a short period of time, changing a culture of a campus and a mentality of a school in regards to basketball is second to none.
Hey, Seth, finally, your brother Brad's been with you. He comes out of the NBA. How much does it mean to have a guy on your staff? I mean, somebody you love, somebody you trust, somebody who has your back.
It means everything. Obviously, no one wants more for you than your own family. And, you know, he's the voice of reason. As everyone knows, I could lose it at times. I kind of wear my emotions on my sleeve. And I think he's like the older, wiser voice of reason. The little guy, he's the good guy on the shoulder, and I got some bad guy on the other shoulder.
There you go. Seth Greenberg joining us. Seth, congratulations on a great year thus far. Always good to have you on the show. Good luck with it.
Great. Thanks, Jimmy.
Good job, Seth. All right, next up in the forum, hard times in Krasuski.